So I had a customer come in to the store the other day. She asked me if I wouldn't mind just cleaning her jewelry for her. She handed me a ring, and what I generally do when a client hands me a ring, I'll take out my trusty loop, have a nice gander at it, and I noticed while I was looking at it that her prongs were quite worn and the band was quite thin, and I told her as much, and I said to her, "Excuse me ma'am, when's the last time that you have had your rings checked?" And she told me, "What do I mean?" Well, I said, "Usually you have your rings checked every 12 months, 24 months, just to make sure that everything is still secure and safe." And she said, "Well, she's never done that, and why would she? The ring is gold and the setting is platinum." She was told it's indestructible, and it's gold and a precious metal, so it cannot get worn down. And I was absolutely gobsmacked. And that conversation inspired me to make this video, because I never realized that there are people out there that doesn't know you have to have your jewelry checked on a regular basis. You wouldn't drive your car for 10, 12 years without having the oil changed or plugs checked or tires checked or anything. You won't just drive it into the ground. And that's basically what she was doing with her jewelry. So today's video is going to talk about 5 things that you might be doing that's damaging your jewelry. And at the end of the video, I'll give you 2 bonus tips on how to clean your own jewelry and how to assess it yourself, just to keep an eye on it, make sure without having to go into a jewelry. So let's get into it. So point number 1, wearing your jewelry while swimming or in the shower. So most of the time when we head out to the pools, the ocean, or even when we jump into the shower, a lot of us don't tend to remove our jewelry. Your rings, your necklaces, nose pins, all sorts of studs and piercings. But they don't realize the water can be harmful to your jewelry. Not only can the water be damaging to certain gemstones, it could also cause oxidization on some of your gold jewelry, especially on the joints. If it's a handmade piece, the solder tends to oxidize, because solder is a different alloy to gold. And the more solder joints your ring have, the higher the risk of it oxidizing. And not just that, you also run the risk of losing your jewelry. How often have I heard stories of people wearing a neck chain in the shower, or even their ring, and they're busy scrubbing away and washing and soaping everywhere, and it slips off your finger, your necklace break, and your pendant and your chain might be a diamond pendant for all you know, for all I know, and it slips down the drain. So one of 2 things is going to happen. You're going to either have to get someone out to dig up the drain to get your pendant back, or your chain or your ring, whichever fell down the drain, or you're going to have to replace it. So both of these options tend to get a bit pricey, especially when it comes to diamond jewelry. So please try and avoid it. And then the other one is, if you go into the ocean or the pool, especially the ocean water tends to be cooler than our body temperature. And what happens when your hands get colder, especially for your rings, your fingers starts to shrink ever so slightly, and then your ring becomes looser. And you won't even notice it. If you're splashing around, playing in the waves, that momentum would cause your ring to slide off. And good luck finding that in the sand. I lost my cell phone about a year ago in the waves, right in front of me. Shallow water. Could not find it. Big cell phone. S22 Ultra. So good luck finding your ring or pendant. So if I give you any advice, if you take anything away from this video today, is do not wear your jewelry when you're in the shower or in the ocean or even the pool. I mean, those pools have filters and stuff and things going around, so it gets sucked up in there. Yes, your chances might be better getting it back when you lose it in a pool, home pool or public pool. It doesn't really matter, but your chances are better of getting it back. But ocean and the shower, most likely it's going to be gone. Another point with the pools, home pool or public pool, and jacuzzis for that matter, is that there are chemicals in the water to keep the water clean, like chlorine and algae eaters and all that sort of stuff. And 9 times out of 10, those chemicals can eat away your gold and silver jewelry. Not necessarily the gold, but the alloys or the contents that's mixed with the gold to actually make it 9, 10, 14 or 18 karat. The pure gold will still be there, but the alloys binding everything together will be eaten away by chlorine. So, and you might have noticed that if you wear silver jewelry, it tends to go black when you're in a pool or in a jacuzzi with a high chlorine content. And that's due to the chlorine in the water that causes that. So take your jewelry off. Point number 2, wearing your jewelry every day. Now this is a common thing that a lot of people do, is putting a jewelry on and leaving it on and never taking it off. I've heard so many clients tell me, oh, I've been wearing my ring for 50 years. I haven't taken it off since the day I got married. Big mistake. You should take it off when you're washing your hands and doing dishes and working in the garden. Remove your jewelry, put it, find a safe place and leave it there. And then when you're done with your strenuous work, you put it back on again. Or do what I recommend you do is you take it off when you're doing anything strenuous with your hands, and you put it back on when you go out. So at home, take it off, go out, put it back on. Easy as that. And then also with earrings, I've noticed that earrings tend to get quite gunky. And for the main reason for that is when you wear your earrings to the shower, right? And you're washing your hair, and all that soap and grime gets stuck in behind your earrings. And you don't tend to take the earrings off and dry it off properly. You take the hairdryer, but all that soap and chemicals and gunk gets stuck behind the stone, behind the scroll, the little thing that keeps the earring in place. And that gunk collects over the years or months, and it starts to smell funky. It doesn't look great. And bacteria tends to almost spawn from there. I've seen some gross pieces, and it's not from gross people. It just happens. So if I give you any advice, at least once a week, take your earrings out, take an old toothbrush, just clean it off a bit and get rid of all the gunk, and it'll help a lot. So that's for earrings, but the same goes for rings. If you wash your hands, and we all know with the pandemic how often we had to wash our hands every day and clean, sanitize and go crazy. And all that stuff gets stuck. Now, I don't have a stone in my ring, but usually if you have a stone that stands up a little bit, all that soap and gunk gets stuck behind the stones, behind the setting, and it just collects there. And it doesn't take long for that gunk to actually just build up. And you've got dead skin cells in the open air and dust and everything collecting onto that and compounding behind the stones in that setting. So a good habit would be to remove the ring once a month, once a week, once every second week. Take it off, clean it up, especially hairdressers. You guys are the worst. Well, actually, no. There's one particular industry that's worse, but that's a bit gross. It's bakers. Yep. You know who you are. People that work in the baking industry, and don't take your jewelry off when you're kneading the bread and working with the dough and everything. I've seen your rings. Those rings shouldn't get in contact with anything that goes into this mouth. So please, guys, do me a solid. Take off the jewelry when you're doing work stuff. Point number 3, and this gets overlooked occasionally, and this is having your rings in the correct finger size. I've so often seen it where people come in and they wear a stack of rings, and they're all different sizes, and they wear this band to keep that one in place and keeps this one from spinning, and it's a mess. It's a hot mess. Because what happens when the rings spin on your finger in between two other rings is essentially grinding the rings together. So what you effectively have the metal wearing the one ring wearing the other one down. And 9 times out of 10, your less expensive ring would wear down the more expensive ring. The purer the metal, the softer the metal. The hardness of 9 carat or 10 carat for those people in the States, there's more alloys in the gold, which makes it harder and tougher essentially. Because you've got copper and zinc and silver mixed in there. And so that makes it a lot harder than, say, 18 karat for argument's sake, which is a purer metal. It's got less of the other metals in it. So the 9 carat or 10 carat would wear down that 18 carat so quickly. Especially if you're wearing an 18 carat ring in between 2 9 carat rings, I guarantee you within a couple of years, there'll be nothing left of the band underneath. It'll be worn away completely. And if you have settings at the top, it'll just wear it away like grinding every day, especially if you don't take it off. So make sure that when you buy or purchase a ring or get gifted a ring, take it to your local jeweler, get it sized, and make sure it fits properly. That's the least you can do, especially if it's a valuable piece. Make sure the size is correct. And also a bonus tip on this one, try not to wear silver jewelry next to gold jewelry, because it'll be the same effect again, where your gold jewelry would wear down your silver jewelry much quicker, because silver is a lot softer than gold. So another thing I'd like to bring under your attention is the fact that all jewelry are not created equal. So you might go to one store and see a ring for $500, and you might go to the next store and see a similar looking ring for $8,500. What you should do is educate yourself just a wee bit before you make that purchase. The worst kind of purchase you can do with jewelry is impulse buying, because that salespeople, not me included, are well trained to convince you to buy that piece because they want to make a sale at the end of the day. And so if you buy that ring, and I'm not saying it might definitely be crap, but it most likely would be the $500 one, because you get mass-produced rings that's made overseas, and they don't always use the best materials. And let me just put something out there. Generally, like 99.995%, the carat would be correct. If it says 9 carat, it would be 9 carat. If it's 14 carat, it would be 14 carat. But where the inferiorness, where the quality starts to lack, is when with regards to the metal they add into the gold to make it 9 carat, 10 carat, or 18 carat, or 14 carat. And the methods on which these rings are made, it's all mass produced and cast. And I'm not saying casting is wrong. I cast rings at least once a week, or parts of it. But because they use such a mass production sort of assembly line method, the quality control isn't that great. So they make thousands upon thousands of rings in one batch. There's no ways they're going to check all those rings and make sure everything is 100%. And that's why a lot of the time you'll find with these big box stores, they'll have massive specials on their jewelry. In some cases, they have rings at lower prices, lower than what I can purchase the materials for, because they buy it in such big bulk, and the quality of the stones are way down. The labor cost is way down. So you can imagine if those factories are getting $5, $10 a ring profit, they're not going to spend a hell of a lot of time on quality control. All they focus on is if it's shiny, as it's looking good when it leaves their factory, and that's it. And all the stones are in. So yes, all they care about is production. They don't care about after sales. They don't care about the quality. They care about it looking good when it leaves the factory, and that's it. And then that is when you get rings falling apart, pieces breaking off, and rings just not lasting as long as what it used to do in the past. So your best type of ring to get is one that's obviously been handmade, because then the metal gets worked hard and it's stronger, tougher, and the person who's worked on it has poured his soul into it. Yes, you may pay a little bit more at that stage, but in the long run, you'll save money. So definitely do your research before buying a ring. Yeah, rings aren't all made equal, and you can end up having a lot of problems with jewelry if it's not properly made. So it brings us to our last point, cleaning your jewelry. I've heard so many people saying, just use toothpaste, and toothpaste will clean your jewelry right up. Please don't use toothpaste. The abrasiveness, and especially those spearmint flavor ones, could damage your pearls, opals, lapis stones, turquoise, any porous sort of a stone will definitely get damaged. Things like tanzanite, emeralds, and those sort of stones will get scratched because of the abrasiveness. Although you don't feel it, there is a little bit of a grittiness to it, and that grittiness could damage your stones. So please stay away from toothpaste. I once had a customer brought in, and unfortunately this was many years ago, I don't have a picture of it, where she brought in a pile of black dust in a little bag, a little Ziploc bag. And she said to me and says, "Jan, can you fix it? This is my engagement ring." And I said no, because it was so badly damaged. Someone gave her advice and told her to boil her jewelry in a thing called sterinappy, something we got in South Africa. It's a very high concentration of ammonia. They used to use it to clean diapers, the old material diapers. And believe me when I tell you, there's almost nothing worse than ammonia, or concentrated ammonia, for your jewelry. It'll destroy it completely. There'll be nothing left except black, brown powder dust, and it can't be repaired. So don't always listen to people on the internet, but people with no experience. If you'd like to clean your jewelry yourself, take some lukewarm water, a squirt of dishwashing liquid, and go buy a toothbrush dedicated. I've actually got one here somewhere. just bought one. I even use a toothbrush with my jewelry and ultrasonic and everything. Dedicated for the purpose of cleaning your jewelry. And let it soak in there for a minute or two. And remember, not hot water, just lukewarm water and the toothbrush. Let it soak in there for about 2 minutes. Take the brush, scrub it away. You can even get those little bristles in underneath the settings, and that should clear out most of the gunk. You can also buy purpose-made jewelry cleaner. Same procedure though. Get a toothbrush, let it soak in there for a few minutes, and brush away, rinse it thoroughly, and then it should be good to go. And at least once a year, take your jewelry into a jeweler professional and have it professionally cleaned and checked. And they usually don't charge a lot. I think it's like $10. In the US, I've heard they don't even charge at all. So yeah, because it'll save you money in the long run, and you build up a relationship with that jeweler as well. So should something go wrong, you kind of got a backup plan, or like a fallback, where you can go back to that jeweler and say to them, listen, you checked this ring like 2 weeks ago, now my diamond's fallen out. Why don't you advise me work needs doing? So I hope this video has helped you. If it did, if you took anything away from it, please smash that like button. We're really trying to get the channel's momentum back on track again. And I would really appreciate it if it's your first time watching. My name is Jan. I'm the Chunky Jeweler. I've been in the jewelry industry for going on 30 years. I know a thing or two about jewelry, and on this channel we love talking everything jewelry related. If you have any questions, feel free to message me and email me, direct message me, drop a comment in the Google groups down below, and I would reply to you as soon as I can. And if there's enough questions in one direction, in a certain direction, then I would be happy to make a video solely dedicated to that topic. So, yeah, that's going to do it. Catch you in the next one. Chunky Jeweler out.